Welcome to Nutrition Nuts, where we discuss the latest nutrition breakthroughs, supplements, and wellness choices with leaders in the natural products industry, health practitioners, and research scientists. I'm your host, Jim Wilkes, certified nutritionist. Thanks to our main sponsor, HollyHillVitamins.com, the place for great selection, service, and prices. Check out their extensive wellness library for updated science-based info. Well, today my guest is Karen Masterson Koch. She has been a clinical nutritionist for over 35 years, with over 17 years working in medical clinics. For 6 years, she worked at the famous immunology and allergy clinic called the Livingston Clinic, where the world-renowned Dr. Virginia Livingston, MD, whose protocol has been studied by researchers around the globe because it got results with difficult cancer patients. Karen went on to work in chronic diseases, including AIDS, for the next 8 years, and that sparked her interest in aloe vera that led her to develop the excellent company with the best aloe vera products available today called Aloe Life International. She is also an author and some of her books and articles, including Gift of Nature, which is a handbook on clinical observations and applications of whole leaf aloe vera, and Beyond Gluten Intolerance. So when I have questions on aloe vera, Karen is who I turn to. Please take a listen and learn. Welcome, Karen. Thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. It's been a long time, and you're one of my perennial guests I've had over the years on my old radio show, and there's a reason why I always have you back, because not only are you fascinating to me, but I also learn so much every time I do this, and that's the key, and I just love sharing this with the audience. So again, thank you.
Well, thank you, Jim, for having me, with you, because it's always great to be with you. And boy, our country is facing a health crisis never before seen by all the experts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, including, I'll just, throw in a little bit of statistics. John Hopkins, their report in 2020, say that they feel that because there's now over 160 autoimmune disease, and all the big ones, are all up, the cardiovascular, the cancer, the blood sugar with diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
They feel it's because it's really on the tails of the obesity epidemic that we're seeing 70% of our country obese. I know you know that. And then 20% of the kids. So I love being on to just share some tips about how to reach your healthier goals, friends, the natural way.
Yeah, we have to widen the doors of the stores and get some larger seats.
You're so right.
Yeah, get some larger seats
widen
on
those
the
doors.
Yeah.
Yes, really, because health food stores are beacons of hope, and hope is always healing.
Yeah.
I mean, people haven't had the experience you and I have had working with all these different conditions, to how they get better and better and better when you start applying health. I mean, you may never go into full remission on some things, but if you feel like living and you can experience your family and your work and just the world we live in, have fun, that's winning, friends. That is winning.
Well, Karen, I think I mentioned to you this maybe the last couple of times we talked, and I just want the audience to know, because there's a buzzword out there in the last few years, and it's called superfood. If you maybe it's two words, but I put it together, one word, superfood. And you hear about these exotic foods from all over the world, and these little tribe in this little village was using this and this herb, and it felt great. The poor aloe, which is probably the king of all superfoods, and it's something that people put in their kitchen and water every once in a blue moon, right?
Yes. And you know what's amazing, because you and I have both been seasoned health educators, me more clinical, coming into the health arena, the health food store arena, with the best, number one, health products. But they didn't used to have a category when they would measure sales. I mean, sales are really important because it really shows what is really helping to support our customer base, all of our population, our 380 million Americans, some native, some not, and it just, it's like really tells us. And now there's actually a category called superfoods, and they are the herbs primarily, but they're also greens. So, it's herbs are foods, and they're also superfoods now officially. So you're right. So we have all these amazing different exotics, like acai berries have become, more popular, but you got to be careful. I mean, that's the thing. It's like some of these things are going, well, why are my herpes flaring up when I'm using acai? Well, anything with seeds in them can cause more of a herpes outbreak. So there's answers when you have experienced health educators on your show. So, and that's where the books, you're going to bring in my books, will really give answers to that. But I love it that you brought up superfoods. Aloe is in the superfoods category in the United States and the world, along with digestive support. I mean, in superfoods, I don't want to teach you everything, but the audience, superfoods have more than just one action. And that's what's beautiful about Aloe Life being a superfood, but also being a therapeutic one that we concentrate, is that it works in all these different channels for the body. It's not just helping like vitamin C, right? We die without vitamin C, so we have to have it in the body. And people are living with 21st century scurvy because they're not eating any fruits and vegetables to speak of, or taking vitamin C, and all their joints are aching and their skin is falling apart, and it's because they don't have any vitamin C. It's modern day scurvy. So getting back to herbs, what I love about herbs, and we use about 20 different ones in the line of Aloe Life, is that we have all of these, not only nutrition that's in the aloe, but also these extra phytonutrients in the superfood. So, it is true. It is true. It's kind of odd that aloe has now been included, but really for the last 20 years, honestly.
Yes,
it's a superfood.
Now I did mention before you came on that you worked for the world-renowned Livingston Clinic with Dr. Virginia Livingston. And is that where you got your first taste of aloe, or your first love for it? Or did you see something in your apprenticeship there that made you go down this road?
Well, such a good question. I loved working at the Livingston Wheeler Allergy and Immunology Clinic, friend. So it tells you what we did in the clinic. She was a pioneer in the field, a female physician who was rare, that goes back to working in women's prisons. That's where back in the 50s when she started working, actually 30s, 40s, 50s, and then opened her clinic up in the early 70s. In San Diego, not in Mexico, San Diego, California, working and giving just incredible years back to people living with cancer and other rare diseases, a lot of autoimmune diseases, because allergy is kind of like the older category where we put all the autoimmune, IBS, advanced bowel disease, even mental illness that's tied to it and everything. So it was like my dream job out of college. I mean, it was just like, my God, this is where I get to actually bring in my vegetarian diet, which I was into at that time in the 80s, and also everything I've been learning. But aloe kind of came into my I would just say, my knowingness. But I knew you could use it for diverticulitis. I knew that you could use it for arthritis. And but I did not know that it was helpful even for immunity until my next job working in HIV and AIDS. And that's where I actually saw tumor reversal with my first cancer patient at a health center in San Diego, really close to the San Diego Zoo. The doctors couldn't believe it, and I couldn't believe it. But it was the whole leaf juice concentrate. It preceded the Aloe Life product. And I really didn't believe that the research was already happening in Texas, friends. There was already research which really helped me to make the case with this social worker friend of mine, Christy Phoenix, who said, Karen, we really have to see if there's anything to this aloe for our AIDS patients. Because she and I worked together in this whole field in San Diego. And there were so many AIDS patients back in that time. And so because of the research out of the Dallas-Fort Worth Medical Center on cancer, on HIV, on shingles, on herpes, on mumps, the doctors I worked with said, okay, let's buy this product and just see, how our patients actually felt. And to my surprise, every single one of them had more energy. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's the litmus test, friends, for the body starting to actually work, get the viruses back into dormant state. Because many of you don't know there's thousands of viruses in our environment that actually can be in the human body, thousands.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19 is just a series of different flu viruses that we've had to deal with, but there's many more that if your immune system drops, then you start feeling sick. And that's what we would see with either cancer patients or AIDS patients. So when you're building them up and they start feeling better, and then their lab work, Jim, also, I mean, for a clinician like myself, seeing that anemia was reversing, the blood was building up stronger, and that means the bone marrow was actually rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were so many signs that aloe could really, really help with so many conditions. My mind was blown. So I stayed in about a year of excitement, super excitement, and started writing everything down. And that became the first little book, Gift of Nature.
Wow. Yeah, which is still a great book. I still it's one of my reference books I go to when someone asks me a question. The Gift of Nature, the whole leaf aloe vera story.
Well, it's easy to read, and it has 39 different conditions that really just everyday people work with, not just AIDS. Mm-hmm. That's under immunity and health. But definitely skin conditions. There's 21 different ones that I address, from acne to definitely eczema, psoriasis, and so many different ones. And it's not a cure. Aloe is not a cure, friends. But when it helps foundationally start feeding the body, because there's 75% nutrition, in the plant itself. Mm-hmm. When you don't overfilter it, and that's the big key. Hey, leave the actives in the actual finished product. Duh. Our product does not taste like water, does it?
No,
no, it doesn't.
Right.
It tastes more like a tomato juice. But then there's 25 different phytonutrients, and that's really the exciting part, which I didn't know this. And so as I learned, I updated this little book, Gift of Nature book. And again, we can make sure that Holly Hill has some extra copies to use just if people are getting excited. I use all the products that Aloe Life makes, the 17 different products on my skin, inside. But again, on the patient study, it was amazing. And definitely from asthma to, with the allergies and all of that, using the whole leaf juice concentrate was just a game changer. I mean, these are conditions that take children's lives every year. I mean, definitely right now, people are needing this and they just don't have the information.
Karen, I know I can go into Home Depot or something and buy an aloe plant there. And I'm sure a lot of people, like I mentioned earlier, they have it in their kitchen or something, and they use it for a quick remedy for a burn. That's what most people in the general public think of aloe. Are there different varieties of aloe, and how does Aloe Life International pick their aloe?
I love to talk about the history of aloe. I mean, it has become like a best friend, a family friend. It's just, and people all over the world love it. So it is in the top 4 herbs worldwide. Mm-hmm. And the history goes back actually 60 million years to Africa. But yeah, there's different varieties. There's actually 300 different species. And there's 4 that have more immunity factor in the actual plant itself. And so, again, it is known as the miracle plant because it does things that just blow your mind and you can't explain it. That's what a miracle is. But through all the research, 3,500 new pieces of research from when I first started studying it 30 years ago, has really explained more about what I have seen with my patients. So the Aloe barbadendis and the arborensis, those two, the arborensis is more seen in people's yards, and it's real spiny. There isn't a lot of juice in it, and it really became more popular over in Japan and Korea. And it has the pretty orange blossom, kind of peach orange blossom. But the Aloe barbadendis Miller plant, which we actually harvest from in the Rio Grande Valley, the rich volcanic soil, so you get all these over 50 trace minerals, 5 anti-inflammatories, and the high immunity factor. It's called acetyl mannose polysaccharide mini sugar. It's a complex sugar that stimulates the immune system if you don't overheat it. So that's why we harvest that one. But so each aloe species has some value, like the growth factor. Growth factor is huge. Like, we're the only company that back in '97 did a wound study on diabetic wounds, and every single one of them with the skin gel resolved. And it's like, oh, I'm so glad that my aloe is going to do it. No, if your aloe that you're using is mostly water, which so many products are, unfortunately, with just a little bit of the actives, versus Aloe Life that has over 100 with growth factor.
Gee.
That's what stimulates the new cell growth, and all the research supports that from Dr. Davis and so many different, Dr. Yagi and Dr. Yu. These are more of the people that are living that have done research on immunity, autoimmunity, and the skin. Show you got to have the growth factor in the product. So if people are over filtering it to where it doesn't taste like tomato juice like Aloe Life, but it tastes like water, you're not going to have it, friends. But so that's why we choose that, and we work really close with our growers in the fields. They actually now, the certified organic fields go down in the Rio Grande Valley, actually winds itself south down through Texas into the Mexican provinces and such, because that's where it's warmer. And as we're having now these bizarre,
Right.
outbursts of snow and rain, your plants will die. You can't overwater aloe because it is a semi-tropical succulent in the garlic family. Da-da! Isn't that fun to learn?
Yeah, the sulfur, and everything,
Yeah, high in sulfur, high in all the trace minerals, and one of the reasons it supports blood sugar, healthier blood sugar so much for pre-diabetic or even people living with diabetes. So we caution anyone that wants to feel better, because you totally feel better if you get your pancreas working with its own insulin being made, but you may have to drop your diabetic medicine down because you won't need it. Isn't that great? Because of the molybdenum and the vanadium trace minerals. So when it's rich volcanic soil, it's dark black. You see these volcanic rocks all over in the fields. They're beautiful. You can actually go onto our new website and see more of the field pictures. But right now we're under construction. Anyway, they're beautiful. They're beautiful. Then in the finished juice, you're going to have over 50 trace minerals that really the body thrives on. I know you know this, Jim, but electrolytes, you die without them. But all these other trace minerals help in different processes in the body for immunity, for like zinc. Zinc is one everybody knows now of. You burn it up under stress. And I love pumpkin seeds because you get a lot of zinc in that.
Right.
But naturally. So you don't have to buy supplements with everything, but people aren't eating enough food. So you got to eat food, you got to drink water, you got to exercise to be healthy, to detox, and then you have Aloe Life products to really speed this whole process up like a shortcut.
Well, am I wrong when I say that because of the way aloe is grown in the conditions where it is grown in the hot climate, and it's a strong plant? Is that maybe some of the how it imparts helping the immune system at all, in your opinion?
Well, it is a strong plant, and I just get excited and I give almost too much information at once, but it's a very strong plant if it has wind. And like most plants, it'll make a plant stronger, but if they're small and they're growing, again, the immunity factor is very sensitive to heat. And we are now testing, because we test at the only lab in South Carolina that actually tests for solids. So you can compare an aloe product to an aloe product, and then also the amount of immunity from this acetyl mannose polysaccharide. You have to have that in there because that's what stimulates the macrophage that are Pac-Men to go after viruses, bacteria, and fungus.
So, Karen, it can be a big difference in the quality of aloe products out there, because you know as well as I, you can walk into a drugstore and buy things that say aloe in it, and you really don't know what you're getting, just like a million other products in stores. So there's a difference in the quality of aloe in most of the companies out there, I'm assuming.
There is a big, big difference in every single product, even if they're telling the truth, which unfortunately our whole industry, it's a world industry. Like I was saying, 40 different countries find aloe the most important superfood that they actually have for their people. That's a big 8 out of 10 herbs is aloe. Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, there's a big difference in aloe. I mean, it's made from the whole leaf, where you really find that nature knows best, and it's not harmful. They just clean the spikes off and all, and then juice it, and then filter out just a little bit of the bitter yellow sap, because most people they don't have healthy GI tracts. So there's the whole leaf concentrate, the inner gel, which does have some of the actives, the over 100 actives, but then there's powdered reconstitute. There's now designer aloe products that feel that just the polysaccharide that we're talking about that helps immunity is the important part. Oh, no, it's not the only one, because honestly, with the 25 different phytonutrients, when it comes to the immune system, you know yourself, Jim, that one of the most important enemies to combat in the human body is Candida albicans, that overgrowth of fungus. And we find that if you can actually have some of the other actives, the aloe-amodin, which is so valuable that we have in our product, as well as the anti-inflammatories, that the immune system works better. And that's what's so important. It's not that aloe will do everything, but with the bioavailability studies showing that it helps absorption, and we feel that is tied to all the high minerals, the trace minerals, and even macrominerals that are in the actual aloe when you don't overfilter it, help to chelate these minerals into the body so that you can have this absorption. Amino acids that are in the aloe and minerals both. Okay, so there's a lot of nutrition. 75% of all the actives are nutrition, and then 25% are these other phytonutrients. Then you get absorption up to 300% better, like vitamin E, which is essential for a strong immunity. Every single person on this planet needs vitamin E. You get it from almonds, but you also need it in about 400 milligrams to combat all the toxicity. So when you take 400 milligrams in a tablet or liquid, because I don't like the gelatin caps, you know that. It's kind of like wheat gluten, causing inflammation in the body. You get a stronger immune system in just 1 month. How about that for giving you some extra guidance, people? I mean, this is research. This is really good, repeatable research. And that's where I found that, our immune system is made in the bone marrow, and you have to have plenty of vitamin E for that to take place. So then, you see how once you start getting this core nutrient in, and you get it in little bits from nature, but more in a supplement, which is great. You can get it from Holly Hill, along with the Aloe Life. You really start being able to combat any of the viruses, flu, cold viruses, and plus the Candida albicans. That one, you've got to get the sugar down and not eating as many carbohydrates. I mean, carbohydrates are good. I ate a yam for breakfast with my hard-boiled eggs, with a half an orange, and then my greens, because greens help to also keep the overgrowth of Candida albicans down. Okay, I don't want to get too technical of why, but it's just really amazing. And that's where you've got to have immune system, but you want it balanced. And all these autoimmune that cause this extra inflammation in the body is damaging to the small intestine. That's where ultimately all the nutrients have to be absorbed in the bloodstream.
Right.
And that's where these studies are showing that young people, as well as all ages, are not absorbing their food well. They have way too much inflammation driving so many of these diseases. And diabetes, many of you don't know that, is an autoimmune condition. So once you start, I'll just say, we get the calls in the office. You probably have heard in the store people saying, wow, I had to cut back on my diabetic medicine. It's like, yeah, when you don't need it, we don't have drug deficiencies. So when you start giving your body, right, all the trace minerals, the molybdenum and vanadium it needs, and reducing the inflammation load you're putting on the body by eating sugar and eating so many fried foods, like too many omega-6s, guess what? The body starts healing, because this is really significant. The growth factor helps these little villi in the small intestine start absorbing your food again. Yay! You can actually reverse aging, and that's a big statement. But it's like, I get so, like fatigued to say it's not a cure for this. It's not a cure for, anti-aging. but it is such a support for it. That's the cool thing. Vitamin E, another one really important to have in the body, keeping your blood sugar and your cholesterol in normal ranges. And that's some more of the latest research in the last 10 years. My cholesterol is perfect. And my doctors keep saying, but you're in that age group that everybody has bad cholesterol. I'm like, no, not me.
That's so funny.
Because the aloe helps the liver when it's therapeutic.
Right.
Isn't that fun to learn too?
Amazing. I know you're very into, you just recently you've seen in the news about the train derailment and the chemicals in the air and stuff. But you've been ahead of that for a long time. It's telling people how much toxic stuff is in our environment and how can we deal with it and things, right?
Yes. I'm really glad you brought us to present day because toxicity is amongst us. Some of the worst toxicity, dioxin, you can't even smell. And that's from some chemical, plastics and such. And so that, kind of goes, oh, great. I know when I smell bad stuff, to, quick get inside some of these laundry detergents and everything else. But when it comes to these heavy drugs and heavy chemicals that can really cause cancer, and there's so many in California, we've got Prop 65 that lists them all. I mean, it's just, plastics and heavy metals and just all this stuff and, acetyl chloride or vinyl chloride and all of these chemicals, are very, very cancer causing and or they actually delay childhood development. And we're never all grown up. Mm-hmm. I mean, we don't want these chemicals. So we actually experience pretty similar toxicity, acute disaster in California where I live through the fires. Right. The California fires have caused so much because you've got not just the wood burning, but you've got all the household plastics and all of the things like that. Right. And it really did kick up the asthma and allergy and skin conditions and immunity problems. And our Detox Plus, we make, friends, the most amazing product. It's in the base of our therapeutic Aloe Gold, which is really the best buy because you don't have fruit juice. We have delicious fruit juice for people who are a little bit sensitive to taste, but it's not bad. You get used to the taste of Aloe Gold. It's like a refreshing taste.
I agree with it. I do a shot or two of that. That's fine. I mean, I got used to Jameson whiskey, so I know,
Yeah, it'll put hair on your chest.
There you go.
It does help hair growth, which is really amazing. So anybody wanting their hair on their head to grow, you can put our skin gel, take an ounce. I did in my hair. It's just incredible.
Oh, cool.
And I've never been older. You don't have to get into this. Oh, I'm getting older, so I guess that's fine. No, you're not eating properly. You got too much of this candida overgrowth. But getting back to the catastrophe, the toxicity in the environment. So it's like a daily help on that, but also during an epidemic of a crisis situation, I meant to say, like the fires, the train wrecks, in Ohio and California fires. We got the best results from an amazing woman that was actually, helping so many of the fire victims up in, the Sonoma area that had the burn. And she couldn't believe how quickly our Detox Plus, well, it's got the 11 different herbal extracts, including ginseng, which really helps to give American ginseng you that can do. Like when you're going down from stress and you really feel badly, your glands, your adrenal glands and pituitary glands and your thyroid glands that connect more toxicity. And that's where we have so much malfunctioning thyroid, which feeds into obesity and just, even feeling really crazy, which I love mental health. Maybe we'll do a whole show on that because the aloe helps so much with that issue to absorb, like, say, the fish oils, which are so important, and B12 and all that you need to have, your brain work properly and get out of depression. But again, the results of the Detox Plus with the Easiac herbs, the turkey rhubarb, and all of the other great herbs that help the lymphatics and the lungs, the red clover in that formula, it's amazing. And the people felt good within 5 minutes. That's what's so crazy. It's like, well, how long is it going to take? And who hasn't taken a supplement where they're disappointed? Like you were saying, there's a big difference in the consistency of aloe, but also with all these herbs. many of them have been cited for, having corrupt practices, and we follow that. We have compliance lawyers that actually put the reports out on different, companies and such. But at the same time, yes, the products are phenomenal, and I do love our greens too. I'm sure you have a half a dozen that you like in the shop in Holly Hill. But our daily greens is exceptional because we have all the heavy hitters in it. You might want to bring some in after this, but it's all gluten free, all certified organic now, and we had almost certification, but it's got a new wonderful flavor, which it's got a little bit of the organic stevia, which isn't as sweet. But hey, take the tablets. I've never had such. You smell them, and it's like smelling a fresh garden salad that you make. It is so amazing, Jim.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we get that in your hand. But the Detox Plus, double the milk thistle, and that milk thistle helps the liver detoxify. The Easiac herbs really help not only the lungs, but all of the lymphatics. And then we have the aloe, which helps to regrow tissue. It is amazing. We guarantee it. It doesn't matter if you just want it for a daily detox, just feeling better and reversing whatever you're dealing with. You feel better. I'm on it right now. It's got a lemon lime juice in it, which are astringent, which are good for detoxing, lemon, and then all these herbs. It's just amazing.
Well, springtime is perfect for that too, right? So.
Yeah. Plus we put more sheep's cat's claw, which is really antiviral too. So the astragalus, cat's claw, the aloe, and it's a product that just keeps on giving because you feel so good. Don't take it late because your energy will really wind up, and then you're going to go, "Oh, I hate Aloe Life. I'm up." So take it early in the day.
Right, I only save it for my dates at night. That's the only thing I do.
Yeah.
But Karen, also, we haven't talked since the whole COVID thing happened and stuff. I know some people are suffering from long-term COVID. And obviously we're not doctors, so we're not saying any cures or anything. Have you had any anecdotal success with that as far as long-term COVID goes?
I'm so glad you asked. Again, what doesn't Aloe Life support? I mean, it's just really when it supports the entire body health. And again, not only immunity we're talking, but also the liver, which is such an important organ. People don't realize it does thousands of different activities. Even the Aloe Gold. Okay, so that yes, we totally have, and the research came before COVID-19. Yes, so when we were working with previous COVID viruses from China, by the way, the research started on mammals, and that study is definitely very clear. It was done with a large number of mammals. They didn't have to kill them or torture them. They just had COVID, and then they were losing hair. They were not feeling good. Their immune systems were coming down, and they gave them the aloe, a very high quality aloe, and their symptoms reversed. So yes, we have been like just again a beacon of hope for people who can't seem to shake it. All they do, it's pretty easy.
Pretty cool.
Just add an ounce of aloe.
Right. Folks, remember, you can get a lot of these products from Karen at hollyhillvitamins.com, and Karen's website is aloelife.com, so you can get a lot of information. I mean, we can literally talk another 2 hours on aloe. That's how much information there is that Karen provides to the public there. So, and I appreciate that. They don't skimp on helping people as far as knowledge goes, and that's the key to health is knowledge. And you just do a great job, Karen. Your company does a great job.
Well, thank you so much. And there's so much studies. There's so much research to support every word that I have said today. There's over 100 studies on immunity. So it just happens to be that there was this study that showed the hair grow back in record time. The energy came back to these wonderful mammals. And, they were mice. They were mice. So, again, that helps, us to know, in cases we don't want to do a study on people, you know what I mean, with COVID, but we have done our own. We see our products always work. We rarely ever have anything returned, usually just for taste. And it's because people aren't used to a bitter taste. It has a wonderful, almost like tomato juice taste. And then you got the cherry berry, the orange papaya, or we have tablets as well. Yeah. But, for reflux and all the digestive, we have the advanced stomach formula, which is just amazing.
Which I'm taking, Karen. I'm taking that too. It's really helped me out. So.
I'm so glad, Jim. And I always have it in my fridge in case I eat spicy Chinese food, which I like time to time.
Right.
Stomach plus to the rescue with the extra herb. So what a friend you've been as well, getting the word out to people.
Yeah. Also, I just want to mention too, and we're going to get this in as well, the periodontal problems out there. Aloe you're finding is really good for any type of oral implications, right?
Absolutely. When I first started studying aloe, once my eyes were open, years ago, it came in the back door, and then it changed my life. Okay, and it was because people were sick. I work in that field. Okay, right? You do too. Yep. It's like people are sicker than ever. I mean, they've got everything under the sun, and they need a path back to wellness. So that's what brought me into it 30 years ago. But that was some of the first research was on periodontal disease. Okay, gingivitis, your pockets. There's so much infection that grows in those teeth pockets and such, even cancer microbes, that Dr. Virginia Livingston, who I worked with at the Livingston Clinic, would have advanced cancer patients have their teeth pulled, Jim, if they neglected their dental health. Yes, pretty drastic.
Wow,
but
that's sure.
Many of them went into remission, and I'll tell you, I became friends with many of the people I worked with. Not only did they live longer, but many of them went into full remission. And they were given up for dead. I mean, it's like health always works, right? But the tooth gel is very important, and your mouth feels so much better. And if you don't have the money to go to the dentist, this would be a great product, the tooth gel by Aloe, to get on ASAP. Or, I know it's weird, I take it now. I use it twice a day. And boy, my dentist goes, okay, you don't have to have gum surgery. And I'm like, but at the same time, the skin gel,
I love it.
Product that we've done, studies with, will work. It's 100% safe to brush your teeth with the skin gel, and then you all might bring in the tooth gel, which, it's just kind of nice for the whole family. They feel better. And we use chamomile, which is anti-inflammatory. So everything we do is getting that unhealthy inflammation down and getting the body balanced back to feeling good again, no matter what your age is. So you have fun and you can do the work. We get out and garden, we hike, my husband and I, we play with our grandkids and all. And I work in the office still. So if you want to ever get a question to me, Karen at aloelife.com, Karen at aloelife.com. Talked to a woman yesterday. Can you take this Aloe Life every day? Yes, take it every day. It's preventative. You will feel better, not only in 5 minutes, friends, but in 3 things will start turning around. It's just the most incredible herb. We just have to get the word out because it's a therapeutic product that works fast.
There you go, folks. You're looking for superfoods. Start with aloe. The simple aloe plant, not by any tribe in some faraway country. This is grown right here in the USA, and it's one of the best products on the market. It's just a foundational product that everybody should be taking. And I love the topical stuff. I use the spray as an aftershave. And
I love the spray too, the aloe mist. Yes, with the hyaluronic acid. Yeah, exactly. I do love that.
And people keep saying to me, I don't think you're aging, Jim. I said, well, it must be a few reasons for that. And I think aloe is a major one. So, and my hair's still curly.
And the lotion. And the lotion. Mine got curlier. Yeah. The lotion is for troubled skin. My daughter had terrible skin because she was eating oatmeal. I didn't know. It was such a trigger. Got her off the oatmeal. It stimulated me inspired me to make the lotion. And it's an invasive aloe. Nobody else does this on the planet. No water in it. So you just use a little bit, and it helps any of the troubled skin along with the skin gel. Real simple, cost-effective skincare program, right?
Really. Thank you so much, Karen, for being on. Really appreciate it. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. All right, guys, that's it. Please subscribe to the channel so you can get our latest episodes. And if you want to contact me with any questions or comments, try jimwilkcnc@gmail.com. Thanks again.